Hi, I'm Lee Wind of I'm Here, I'm Queer, What the Hell Do I Read? And I'm here with Kristin.
Kristin Elizabeth Clark would take a long time if you said that every time you said my name. So for you, Lee, but only for you. It's Kristin.
Thank you. So I'm here with Kristin Elizabeth Clark. And, and Kristin, you have a new book out called FREAKBOY, and I'm holding up the ARC. You hold up the real copy so people can be like, ooh. Ooh. Will you read your author's note?
There are as many expressions of gender identity as there are individuals. No two are exactly the same, and I would never in a million years attempt to tell the transgender story. All I can do is tell a transgender story and cross my fingers that people will be interested enough to start asking their own questions. It's my hopeful intention that this will lead to conversation that will in turn draw us all along a path to a greater understanding and acceptance of gender's vast and lovely variation.
You had me at the author's note, really. I was like, okay, I'm going to read this. I'm very excited. All right, why did you write a book about a transgender character?
Okay, so this is the part of the program where I out myself as a straight identifying cisgender woman. You know, and who the hell am I to write a book about a trans character? A kid with whom I have an extremely close relationship came out to me as trans a few years ago. And we went looking for resources and support for her. And there was...
You say her because it was someone that was transitioning from a male body to a female?
Yeah.
Identity?
She'd been held at birth and declared a boy and had presented to me as a male, like the entire time I'd known her. And I was sort of puzzled. You know, the first thing I did, of course, was, you know, give her a hug and tell her I loved her. But over a period of time, when it became obvious that she was, you know, comfortable answering questions, I had a few, because she had presented as male and she had a girlfriend. And I really... This was the beginning of the book for me, because I was really confused by that. Like, how is it that you know, feel like a girl, but you have this girlfriend, and how does that work for you? And she just looked at me and said, you know, I think of me as a lesbian. And I went, okay, all right. And then she said, sometimes. And it was sort of a, hello, gender fluidity, something I'd never known anything about. At any rate, so we did go looking for resources and support for her, and there really weren't a lot of books out there dealing with trans or gender fluidity. And like I said, I had this, and forgive me, again, I know it was stupid, but I had this complacent notion that I knew more than I did, maybe because I had gay friends, and I, you know, have dealt with that community for a long time, you know, on a lot of different levels. But clearly, I didn't know Jack. And so she was really patient and definitely provided a jumping off space for this story. I remember calling Ellen Hopkins and saying, you've got to write a book for these kids, because there's nothing out, or there's very little out there. And Ellen listened to me kind of whine and whinge, and then said, no, I think you need to write this book. And I was scared to, because looping back to the straight identifying cisgender woman, who was I to be telling this story, and what if I got it wrong? And it was a kind of a fearful thing for me, but she pointed out that what I really needed to do, besides research meticulously, and I did that, is connect on an emotional level with my characters, because we all have different triggers. But pain, anger, despair, even joy, they're the same from person to person. You know, different things may bring those up, but essentially we're all human. And so when I got into that mindset, it was much easier to sort of delve into this.
So it's called FREAKBOY. Can you give us a little kind of elevator pitch on what the story is?
Yeah, so it's a verse novel told in 3 voices, but it's really one character story, and that's my protagonist, Brendan, who is asking himself pretty universal questions. Who am I? Where do I fit in? What's my place in this world? But things are, you know, there's another layer to his questioning, because he's gender fluid and is just coming to that recognition and realization. The second voice is that of his girlfriend Vanessa, who herself sort of struggles against gender stereotyping because she's the only girl on an all-guys wrestling team, and she gets called names for that. And she's a little confused by Brendan's sort of drawing her in and then pushing her away. She doesn't know what's going on with him. And then the third voice belongs to Angel, and shh, little book, don't listen, but she might be my favorite character. So she is a Latina trans girl who struggles with demons in her past. She was kicked out of the house at 14 for dressing like herself. She's known since she was conscious that she was a girl, despite having been held up at birth and called a boy. And out of all of the things she struggles with, though, self-doubt or questioning of who she is are not anywhere on the map. She's completely content to be who she is and how she is. And she's able to sort of help Brendan. And there you have it.
What I really loved was that you didn't have a book where it was just one character who represented, like, sort of became the archetype for, well, this is what it means to be trans, or to be genderqueer, or to be gender fluid. You had more than one major character on that spectrum, so it kind of took a lot of the edge off of a certain character having to represent and be everything, which I thought was really clever.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I don't think anybody could. I mean, I don't think you could have one character represent everybody, and even in the places that my characters do represent different aspects, nobody is just one thing, and nobody experiences gender in just one way. And so this was the only way that I could see to do it.
So, Kristin, before we say goodbye, I wanted to ask if you would read one of the poems from the book.
Sure, I'd love to. I will read the first poem, which is one of the few kind of standalone poems that isn't part of the narrative arc, but it informs it, if that's okay?
Please.
So, pronoun. A pronoun is a ghost of who you really are. Short, sharp, harsh, whispering its presence, taunting your soul. In you, of you, but not all you. Struggling, my own he, she, him, her, I, you. Scared that for scrambled pronoun me, we might never exist.
Thanks, it's lovely, and so's your book, and I wish you so much success.
Thank you.
The book is FREAKBOY by Kristin Elizabeth Clark.